The essence of life. The world is unprecedentedly experiencing fear, anxiety, and confusion due to COVID-19 pandemic. It has disrupted the intrinsic fabric of each of our lives. We have overloaded with information which is both authentic as well as fake. The whole world is upside down and has come to a standstill. The COVID 19 pandemic has already consumed up thousands of people across the globe and still waiting for its chance to victimize people. This is an unforgettable misfortune in the history of humankind. We are wrapped by uncertainties, doubts, and chaos. Social distancing makes life all the more difficult. We experience a great chasm in front of our eyes. All our social gatherings, partying, and common religious worship are withheld. The invisible virus freely inches into known and unknown places on the earth. We turn on the TV and radio to hear good tidings from politicians and medical personnel, but we seldom hear the possibility of a cure. The human person, who is supposed to be a social animal, has turned into a caged animal now. The leaders, in consultation with medical personnel, have found one solution of isolation through social distancing. It is only a palliative cure, but of course, not a permanent solution. Of course, it prevents the spread of virus and the impact of further contact with us. In this difficult situation, we are invited to reflect about our lifestyle in dealing with the threatening nature of the virus now, so to prevent it reoccurring in future. Therefore, let us analyze why we are in such a situation now. The running world needs some rest, and tired feet need some relaxation. The lockdown situation is created for every person to search for meaning in life. It is time for personal reflection and introspection. It is a long period for meditation to think profoundly about who we really are and what we're supposed to do as a responsible human person. It is a clarion call for everyone to do things which really matter the most for human life, an enhancement for more abundant and fulfilling life in the planet. It is a clear sign that a development cannot be measured by speed and scientific achievements. We are neither saved by Microsoft nor spacecraft, nor we have stopped thinking about a living space. Now we have stopped thinking about a living space in Mars and in other planets. Now our concern is to be free from the threat of this virus and a total annihilation of it. We are called to look at our speed, development, and a notion of achievement to evaluate and learn from our faults. We are sure no doctor can cure the sickness without knowing symptoms in the body. Similarly, we cannot amicably find a solution without analyzing the human errors that has caused so much suffering and unnatural deaths. Therefore, it is necessary to picturize the realities of life in the world, both in the past and present context, and learn from our own experiences. Self-absorption. This generation has ruthlessly succumbed to self-absorption, which has made people to be more self-reliant, self-oriented, and highly individualistic. People feel compelled to be more self-absorbed. The people get fragmented as an individual person, as a family, as a group of relatives, as a society, as a sophisticated apartment, individual mansion, star hotels, developed countries, developing countries, underdeveloped countries, religious groups, and a host of political parties. More than ever, group mentality, divisive tendencies, and sectarian attitude are on the increase. We find more reasons to be divided and distinguished. We have used our human reasons against the intention of the Creator to be fragmented by any means as long as that is gainful, whether it is party politics or hierarchical caste system in Indian context, or invisible racism in other countries, or religious identity which is observed through fanaticism and fundamentalism. Therefore, self-absorption makes us more individualistic and self-isolated beings. Self-absorption becomes a root cause for all evils in the modern world. It is an illusory idea in which man seeks pleasure, not happiness, and looks at reality as a part and not as a whole. It drives a person mad to be more powerful, more domineering, more aggressive, and more controlling. If we keenly observe, any fraudulent behavior emerges from self-absorption. Think of people who ruthlessly gain money, fame, power, property, and pleasure. What do they communicate to the world today? The people who are very passionate about all these things at the end of the mad race end up in frustration and emptiness. Too much of self-absorption can make the persons to be indifferent to key aspects of life. It can make the person blind to the essence of life. It makes us less human and more animalistic. Therefore, it is necessary to view the evil nature of self-absorption in our life too, and try to be more inclusive and broad-minded. Narcissism. Self-absorption can lead a person to a psychological pathology called narcissism. When we do not achieve anything worthwhile in life, we succumb to narcissistic behavior. Narcissist falls in love with himself in all situations. A narcissist thinks of himself first and others as secondary. The people with narcissistic behavior look for excessive grandiosity and always seek admiration among other people. People with narcissistic behavior spend more time in their attire, spend more time in selection of personal things and adorning themselves. They spend hours in viewing advertisements, make up personal welfare and personal hygiene, and hardly find time for others. Such a person does not count on time and money, and what drives them most is to be presentable and to be in limelight all the time. Now, in this lockdown situation, they have no chance of going to a beauty parlor or a pedicure or a manicure. The people who try to pamper the body with excessive and costly cosmetics deeply suffer from narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. Narcissists are afraid of facing criticism and remarks, so they vehemently oppose criticism or justify their act. It is a game between what one really is and what one projects oneself to the outside world. Narcissists create a fantasy world to be happy and secure. They manipulate others with various tactics by offering freebies, making special allowance to the simple by offering money and gifts. What really operates in the back of the mind of the narcissists is to gain power and position by using a variety of cunning acts. Their self-exaggeration or inflated self-image dominate the real identity of the person. They have megalomaniac feeling that they are more important, powerful, and special in comparison with others. We have a number of historical persons who wielded power and position and finally ended up as utter failures. Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest can be very fitting here. We can see people in all walks of life suffer from NPD. The people with NPD will be more aggressive, egoistic, self oriented, and exploitive to the core. Too much of concentration on self makes them less empathetic and dispassionate towards the welfare of others. More than ever, we will suffer from NPD. To the degree in which we exhibit such behavior varies from person to person. We all succumb to such a fixation of self importance, grandiosity, and superhero and heroine of admiration. Who wants to be less important? The problem with a narcissistic tendency is doing anything or everything to get the admiration alone. We see it in every field and every walk of life. Let the stillness of world make us aware of our behavior and try to understand others, the universe, nature, and animals. All need attention, care, and protection as we are. Unleashed freedom. A human person is born free, but he or she is potentially shaped and formed by parents, family members, and the society in which one is placed. The world defines freedom to be free from external constraints. Accordingly, it is understood as a possibility and ability of doing whatever I like, whenever I like, and in the manner in which I like. People propelled by such thoughts can do things that can please them the most. People do not understand the real meaning of freedom. The younger generation warn the elders, "Do not tread on me and leave me alone." Pope John II said, "Freedom is in need of freedom." The tragedy of the world is those who think of freedom think only for the present moment and not as the end result. People are very much influenced by existential philosophers who stress on absolute freedom from anything that controls their thoughts, behavior, and the manner in which they do things for themselves. Jean-Paul Sartre said, "Man has absolute freedom and he has the potential to be free." He went further and said, "Hell is the other people, and man is nothing else than what he makes of himself." A German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, propagated a catchy phrase, "God is dead." He wanted to make man a superhuman with all power and potentiality, and to reduce the role of God as a source of all morality, value, and orderliness in the world. He wanted to dethrone God and enthrone man on a higher pedestal to govern and control the universe. He believed that science and philosophy can be most sufficient to enhance the condition of life. Such an idea not only made God dead, but also killed him. The Western world was more and more susceptible to numbness to spiritual elements and focused fully on scientific development alone. Man's thirst for unlimited freedom made him more independent and aggressive.